Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brian Rose, and you're listening to the Legendary Podcast. It is Sunday, July 10th, 2016. Thank you very much for taking a few moments of your time today to listen to me as I speak. I kind of wanted to take a bit of a different track today. I wanted to discuss a little bit the situations that have happened this week in our country, with the mass shooting that took place in Dallas, the shooting that occurred in Minnesota, and the shooting that took place in Baton Rouge. When these situations happened, I was very sad about it, and I posted about it on Facebook, on my Facebook page, and I wanted to share it with you because I think it does a better job of summing up my feelings than anything that I could verbally say to you in this podcast. Now, I realize that you've probably seen the news cycle. You've probably watched Fox News or CNN or MSNBC or whatever you watch, and you've been inundated with it all week, and you've heard every conceivable angle that you can hear about it, whether it's the libertarian side or the progressive side or the Republican side or the Democrat side, or there's been a lot of talking heads and a lot of people that have opined about it, but I don't think that there's really been anything that's been addressed about it that needs to be addressed. And I'm not recording this today to seek any sort of personal glory or attaboys or anything like that. So basically, I'm just giving you one man's perspective, one person, one voice who lives in this country and then lives in this world the same way that you do. So I'm going to read to you my post about it on Facebook, and I hope what I have to say today will touch you in the same way that it touched me when I first thought about it. This post was from Saturday. I wanted to post this yesterday, but I didn't have the time. It's been a rough week in America. There's been shooting of civilians and of police officers, and it's been in the name of race. I've been silent about it on Facebook because I felt that I wouldn't have too much to add to the conversation until now. I've been thinking about it for a few days, and I decided I did want to add something to the narrative after all. I'm sad. I'm sad for the loss of life, for the anger and vitriol on both sides of the aisle. But mostly, I'm sad for our country. We're ripping ourselves apart, and it's all about self-centered ideas. Let me explain what I mean. On Friday, I was driving home from work, and I was thinking about the events of the last few days. I was thinking about Dallas and Baton Rouge and Minnesota. The narrative in all of these instances was the same thing. Black lives matter, police lives matter, and all lives matter. The folks in the Black Lives Matter group feel that the black people's lives don't matter to white folks, and they want their voices heard. The folks in the Police Lives Matter group feel the same way about themselves. The All Lives Matter group feels the same way about themselves too. And that's when it hit me. All these groups and everything and everyone else for that matter are all looking out for themselves. Have you ever read George Orwell's Animal Farm? There's a famous quote from that says, "All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others." That is what we have become as Americans. Do you remember 9/11? I do, like it was yesterday. Right after it happened, we came together as one. It didn't matter what color you were or what you believed in. We were Americans, and we were united as one, looking out for each other. 15 years later, and what have we become? We've divided ourselves, and we've let ourselves be divided by race, politics, creed, worldview, and ideologies. You know what scares me? I was watching Fox News on Friday, and they were showing a poll about how Americans view each other. I don't remember what the numbers were, and it doesn't matter, but I do remember the question. The question was if Democrats or Republicans viewed the other side as the enemy. The enemy? Are you kidding me? Have we come to a point now in our country that not only will we not talk to each other about opposing views, but we now regard each other as the enemy if we don't agree? For those of you who may or may not know, I am a born-again Christian. I know some of you in my friends list aren't, and that's okay with me. One of the things I'm supposed to do is to love my neighbor as myself. On Friday, I shared Mark 12:28-31 from the NIV regarding this teaching in response to what has happened in our country this week, and I got attacked for it by my stepsister. And you know what? That makes me sad too. You don't have to be a Christian to practice this. Looking out for one another and caring for others, it's basic human decency. It just so happens to be in the Bible, but that's not the reason why I shared it. In closing, it doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, gay, straight, white, black, pro-gun, anti-gun, pro-abortion, anti-abortion, Christian, Muslim, atheist, or anything. Black lives don't matter. White lives don't matter. Police lives don't matter. All lives don't matter. Your life matters. It matters to me. If you've listened through this, I want to say two things. Number one, thank you for taking the time and know that I love you. You matter to me. If you're on my friends list or if you're sitting there at home listening to this podcast today, you did so for a reason. If you're not on my friends list or if you've never stumbled across me before, I hope someday that I get the chance to meet you in person. Just know that there is one person who's out there who isn't full of hatred, no matter what you may think about me. I love you, and your life matters to me. Now, I did modify that just a little bit in light of me broadcasting it here on this podcast, but the truth of the matter is that I do love you. And I think that's the narrative, that's the discussion that we need to have in this country today. I can remember 9/11 like it was yesterday. I remember the patriotism that came from that right after it occurred. And I can remember we didn't see race, we didn't see color, we didn't see religion or faith. What we did see was we saw a country that was hurt, but a country that was picking itself up off the mat. Now, somewhere along the way, between then and now, 15 years later, we've lost our way somehow. We don't see each other as individuals, if we even look at each other at all. A lot of the time, myself included, we spend our quality time looking at our electronic devices. Hey, listen, I love technology just like the next guy. And, if you're listening to this on whatever electronic device you have, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time, I really do. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we don't see each other as people anymore. We see each other as commodities. We've allowed ourselves to be subdivided and identified by race, by creed, by ideology, by religion, by politics, by sports team, by anything. But the one thing that each one of us has in common, if you were born in the United States, we're all Americans. No matter what you believe in, what you hold to, how you vote, what news channel you listen to, none of that matters. What matters is that we're human beings first, and we owe each other a duty of care to look out for one another and to love our neighbors as ourselves. And you don't even have to believe in the Bible to believe that sentiment. It's basic human decency. As I said in my post, I know that some of you out there who are listening to this will disagree with me being a Christian, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. But we need to stop being so self-centered and self-motivated and start looking at others and taking care of somebody else. I honestly believe if we start doing that, it'll go a long, long way towards healing our nation. Whether you're pro-gun or anti-gun, or whether you believe in abortion or against abortion, or if you're Republican or Democrat, or who cares? It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that we need to start coming together and opening up each other's arms and loving one another. Dr. Martin Luther King said famously that he had a dream that one day all men, black or white, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, would be able to join hands and sing in the famous words of the old spiritual, "Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last." And it seems to me that we've come a long way towards getting away from that dream, but we need to start getting back to it. I want to say thank you if you took the time today to download or listen to this podcast. It's available on Spreaker, and it automatically links up to my YouTube channel. You can find me at Brian Lee Rose, the number 1. That's Brian, B-R-I-A-N, Lee, L-E-E, Rose, R-O-S-E, and the number 1. These automatically get uploaded to my YouTube channel, so you can check it out there. It's also on Spreaker, so if you happen to have the Spreaker app, you can find me there as well. You can locate me on YouTube, as I said. You can find me on Facebook at Brian Lee Rose, or Brian Rose, I think is how it's listed. My Twitter handle is Brian Lee Rose. So if you get a chance, take a listen to this. I really appreciate it, and thank you very much for allowing me to bend your ear today. And hopefully some of what I said will have a positive impact on whoever listened to it. Thank you very much. God bless and take care.